one play. I think the second down play, LeGarrette Blount tried to dive over. If he just stays in the hole and doesn't predetermine it, he's going to walk into the end zone and score a touchdown.
Plus,
So
he didn't try to exend it all. The
no,
football
well,
looked like he had broken the plane.
that's taught in New England.
Do
not extend the ball.
So you don't want somebody to punch it, slap
you
it out
don't
of
want
your
somebody
hands.
to punch it out of your hands. So he was doing what he was taught, which is sometimes the right thing. But I think he really missed. He predetermined the read, so he decided I'm going to jump before he needed to jump. Like Elliott would have walked in the end zone on that play, and I
Cam made a terrific play to grab him around the ankles and hold him from jumping,
right.
keep him from jumping.
Right, and I think Cam did exactly on the play. The reason why we're debating this is because you think Gronk initiated the contact, which he did, but that's what he needed to do, and then Gronk's hard to officiate. Gronk's really difficult. It's because you don't when guys get knocked off balance, you think it's Gronk's fault. So, look, I think we focus on that play. I think it should have been a call because there was a pass interference on Justin Coleman earlier in the game that I didn't think was pass interference. They thought it was on television. I thought there was an inconsistencies with those calls, but the fact remains the Patriots defense is not good enough. They have 9 turnovers, 7 of them in 2 games, 4 against her Miami Dolphins, 3 against Brock Osweiler and the Houston Texans. That's 7. They've had 2 turnovers the rest of the season all. So this defense is a liability, and it showed up yesterday.
Well, that wasn't a face mask call that Richard Sherman had on Julian Edelman.
I thought he did grab it, though.
He grabbed the shoulder pad. Skip, tell the truth, Skip.
He raked it. I don't know if he grabbed it.
Skip, we brothers now. Well, we got to fight. Well, we got to fight it out again, just Skip. That was not a clock. That was not a flag.
Well, they were going to,
because he's entitled. Because also you also got to mention, Mike, Cam is entitled to that plot of land also. Cam Chancellor.
Oh, okay.
So he's entitled to that plot of land. Right. He gets to set stake to that claim also. But what I love about the way he played it, because when you get in that situation, there's only 3 things he can run. He can run a slant, he can run the fade, he can run the back shoulder fade. And the way Cam positioned himself, he says, I'm not letting you run the slant. Now, I've seen on tape you run the fade. I've not seen the fade stop. So I'm playing you for one thing.
Right.
We know we're all taught, run 1 yard, the ball's going to fall 1 yard inside the pylon. Cam tried to beat him to the spot. Gronk ran over him. I thought it was a great no call because in a situation like that, when the game has been played as well as it had, you would hate for it to come down to a situation like that. And
but now we're back to the old thing. If it's pass interference in the first quarter, it's got to be pass interference on the last play.
Well, if that's the case, Tom Brady got his legs raked by Cam. They threw a flag. Cam Newton got his hit by Calais Campbell. They didn't throw nothing. So don't pretend like we don't see everything. I see everything.
That's apples and oranges.
No, but I'm just saying. But
pass interference. Call it or not call it.
It's not a call because he initiated the contact.
Okay, I'll
he
tell
beat
you
him
why.
to the point.
Okay, here's what happened to me. And by the way, I would think that Shannon Sharp, Hall of Fame tight end, would have the back of the tight end in this play
He's
instead
got so many agendas.
Yeah, but on Friday, you won't believe this, but Shannon Sharp admitted on live national television that he thought Gronk was better than Shannon Sharp.
No.
Yeah.
See, Skip.
That's what you said.
No,
I heard it. It's on tape.
I said he needed to win another Super Bowl and put up a few more years like he's playing now. Then we can have this discussion. But as of right now...
But you did say that he's on his way to becoming better than Shannon Sharp. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, back to the question. So here's what I thought Cam Chancellor pulled off. A sly veteran move. It was a perfectly executed flop on his part and beautifully sold flop because, again, Gronk, as he starts to challenge, Cam comes to challenge, and he puts his hands up just to stop the jam. But it wasn't a push-off. He just puts his hands up to defend himself. And then Cam reaches up very slyly and grabs hold of Gronkowski and yanks, but then lets go and falls on his back with his hands up like, who, me? I just got knocked on the ground. It's a Manu Ginobili special. It was beautifully executed because Gronk was yanked and lost his balance and fell to the ground. He's 6'6.5", whatever you call him, 275. He's not going to just trip and fall. You have to be pulled down by a very strong man named Cam Chancellor, and he got yanked on the play. There's a quick grab and pull that pulled him off the route and off the pass was fine. The pass was right on target where it's supposed to be.
But I hate the call, though. I really do. I think. Look, we talked about.
You hate the play call.
I hate the play call because I think that's a 50-50, and we end up debating it, and we end up whether it's. I think that 3rd and 1 that I was talking about that Elliott confirms that you don't see. I think there's a perfect example of a time where if you're that close, now they had the box stacked in there, but I think Jerry Rice is in the Hall of Fame, the greatest receiver. I was part of the team that drafted him. And he ran what they call Colorado, which was the fake slant out. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's where I think Gronk needs to really develop his game because the jump ball is great, but
he's really not a jump ball.
But he's so big. If he runs the slant or the out, you can't defend both of those. And to me, those if you're going to use his big body moving into the ball. And I'm sure they were afraid it was going to get tipped because the Patriots have a rule that if it's going to be on the goal line, it's going to be low. If it's going to be on the back end, it's going to be high. So you've got to fall into those categories. And I just think, to me, there's got to be a better play on 4th and 1 than just, okay, let's throw it up. Josh McDaniels is one of the best coordinators in the league. It's a little bit – they should have ran their 2-point play there. They should have ran their 2-point play there.
Which would be what?
Which would have been different than the fade. Which would have been everybody you go in the game. Mike Tomlin must have 12 of them, but most teams go in the game with.
Foreman didn't work yesterday.
Yes, I know, but most teams have 2-point plays that they want to execute. That's a different, unique play. They tried to do it when they jumboed out and Brady lost the snap and kind of didn't do that. But all this is mute. To me, they lost the game for 2 reasons, and this is the most important thing in the NFL on Monday is to figure out exactly why you lost the game. That's not why they lost the game. They lost the game because their defense wasn't good enough. And they made Russell Wilson look like he belonged in the Hall of Fame. It was one of his finest hours.
It was.
It was.
And
because he threw mainly from the pocket.
But see, and this was at home.
Yeah. I don't think see, the thing is with Jerry has more fast. Gronk can't run that route because it's boom boom and then back out.
Right.
And see, Gronk doesn't have that kind of quickness. He's too big. And I get what you're saying. You want to see Gronk run something other than the fade route, but Cam took the slant away. They like to run the slant with him because he's a big body.
Right.
Because once he gets inside, you're on his back. He's 6'6", 270. So a defensive back that's 5'10", 5'10", 5'11", 200 pounds. I mean, think about it. And you're trying to get around him, so he has a large catch radius. But for me, I just look. I know Coach Belichick. This is how he always thought. He's always going to put his best players in the best position to make a play. He believed Tom Brady and Gronk was his best player to make that play. I got no problem with the call.
Right. The other thing I think we're missing here in this whole conversation is the fact that they didn't want to leave any time for Seattle.
No.
I think the play calling was as much affected by the poor defense as it was anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think if
you almost wanted to score on your 4th down,
you
right?
wanted almost to score on your 4th down. They almost really were trying to milk that clock down, knowing Seattle, so they defended themselves instead of just trying to score and say, you know what, we're going to score. They scored with 46 seconds to go in the half to score the touchdown. They're rushing 2 and they scored a touchdown. So to me, really the effect of this whole thing was the defense.
But this goes to show you, that's why it's never too early to score. You score when you can. But I've said this before, Skip. If you want to beat the New England Patriots, especially in Foxborough, somehow you got to get to 25 points.
Yeah.
And you got to take Rob Gronkowski away. See, you look at Edelman and you look at Martellus Bennett. They had about 14 catches for over 200 yards.
They did.
All that's paper cut. We can put bandages on it. But if you let that big guy, number 87, 6'6", 270, if he'd have had the 7 catches for 100 yards that Martellus Bennett had, they're winning this ball game.
But this game, it really wasn't as close as the score. I mean, the Patriots played good in the red zone.
Yes.
And if they don't do that, they're in the 40s.
Yeah.
They're in the 40s.
So the Patriot defense gave up 420 yards, 96 rushing, which is not all that bad. And that Pro-Size kid just came out of nowhere and just took the game over. Leading receiver, leading rusher. But my point is, we're back to what you and I discussed. How much is this on Bill? Because there's an onus on him, because we know all the reasons. You've been great about enlightening us about why you got rid of Jamie Collins and even Chandler Jones. But now you're down 2 studs, two highly talented players, and all of a sudden you're trying to do it without not a lot of pass rush, right? They got to Russell 3 times, but they didn't really
They
Put a
never
lot
had
of heat
control
on
of the
him.
game. No, I think Bill would tell you that this is on him. I think he's got to fix this defense. And I think going into the bye week, they thought they could. But I think today is going to be a very sobering day in the offices in Foxborough. And I think that Bill needs to Matt Patricia's the defense coordinator, but I think Bill needs to get more involved with the defense, because I think that right now, and I thought you saw it in the second half, they tried to play some things. They're not a man-to-man team.
No.
And I think what Process did yesterday to him and what Seattle did to New England was exactly what New England does to Seattle. Declare where you want to be, and we're going to find the matchup. And whether it's Hightower covering the back or whether it's Roberts covering the back, they're going to exploit it. And I think that's where they did it. And they're not playing the run well. They don't rush the passer. I think the challenge Bill has to use his expertise, because right now it's not working.
Yeah, to your point about how many points they've scored and how bad the defense is, last night's game was only the second time in the last 3 seasons that the Patriots have allowed 30 points in a home game.
Ooh.
They are in trouble. Michael, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check out Michael's podcast, Make Me Smarter, which comes out every Tuesday. Coming on, just getting Shannon all excited and crazy. Coming up, now that Conor McGregor is UFC's first ever dual champ, would Skip or Shannon give him a chance against Floyd Mayweather?